Hello and welcome back to my garden. Those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Rebecca and I garden here in Central Virginia. I'm a no-dig organic gardener. And today I'm going to work on my tomatoes. My tomatoes have been in the ground since about the beginning of May, and now it is time to give them their medicine. What do I mean by that? I'm an organic gardener after all. Well, I mean, take your aspirin. There's a lot of research on this. I have learned about this through my garden mentor, Gary Pilarchek, over at the Rusted Garden. And I've also read some good scientific documents on it as well. So I'm pretty confident about this method for tomatoes and tomatoes only. Basically, what you're doing is stimulating the plant's immune system so it will be more resistant to fight off diseases that may come in, such as early blight, late blight, etc. I do this when the tomatoes are about maybe 18 inches tall. So they've got some growth on them already, but they haven't yet begun to flower. At least most of them haven't. One simple uncoated aspirin, and you're going to put that into, you're going to dissolve that in a gallon of water. Now, I always dissolve mine before I put it in my sprayer, just to make sure that it actually dissolves. And then I put it into my sprayer, shake it up, and then spray my plants. So let's go ahead and get to it. I love nothing more than tomatoes in the summertime, and I want to get a lot of them. All right, here are my pre-dissolved aspirin. Just going to make sure they're all stirred up, put them in the sprayer. I've already got water in there. Now, if you've not yet invested in the sprayers, go ahead and do it. It's really worth it. I have a few of them, and I just keep them for different uses. Things like this, which are easy residues to get out, I'll use for multiple things. But for things that have oils in them, like if I'm using a peppermint oil or other things, I'll have a dedicated sprayer. Here is my main tomato row, plus this accidental pumpkin that got going, but I'm just going to let that pumpkin do its thing, but I'm not going to let it glom onto my tomato plant. I'll push it over this way. So I have several different kinds of tomatoes, and you can see this one is falling over, so I'm going to be pulling that one up as well. Yeah, these are about 2 feet tall. Here's what I call my sauce patch tomatoes, and they are definitely ready as well. Now a little guy this big, he's not ready yet. He's just been recently transplanted. And just a couple days ago, he was looking pretty dead, and now he's looking pretty alive. So that's good. However, these guys, this one is a Mountaineer's Pride, and that one is a Little Sweetie. Definitely time. I have pumped my sprayer. I have shaken it up. That's good exercise. And I'm just going to spray my tomato plant up and bottom, top and bottom, really, really well. Go on to tomato plant number 2. Again, what we're doing is we're just stimulating. You can do around the roots area too. That'll seep in and help to inoculate some of the roots. Wow, these are starting to blossom already. That's great. Just keep shaking up so that you've got the full aspirin. Concentrate there. Pump it up, a little bit up, and give everything a good spray. Spray undersides, oversides, everything. Now these are determinate tomatoes. These are my sauce, my plum tomatoes. Also a great time just to inspect and see what's going on here. I have to come out and trellis these or stake them up. So far they look so good, but I know that we'll get some things. Blight comes in. My biggest beast that attacks my tomatoes are the hornworms, and they will be coming along probably in another week or so. Well, 2 weeks maybe. And then that's when I become Miss Vigilant. And I get out here every single night and I search for them and I put them in a jar of detergent. Should you do this again in the season? Maybe in another month. One of the things I'll start doing probably next week is coming out with my hydrogen peroxide spray. And that just kind of gives them a cleanse and helps to keep them more disease resistant and clean. These were my tomatoes that were kind of puny. I did a video on earlier in the spring when I had to do a little rescue and I had to repot them because they were just not getting big, and it ended up being the soil that I was using. I just wasn't giving them enough nutrition as they grew and as seedlings. So we took care of that and planted them, and it's amazing once you get them in ground, they just really want to grow. These sauce tomatoes are starting to get their first blossoms. Great. They should end up with their production in the beginning of August. We should begin to make our tomato sauces with these. Maybe a little earlier this year because I did put them in a couple weeks before I normally do. So how many tomato plants do I plant in my sauce patch? I have 13 here. And that seemed to be a good magic number. I do 13. Some people think that's an unlucky number, but I do it because I usually lose one along the way. And then I have an even dozen. And that seems to be enough to keep me in tomato sauce for my family for the year. One year I did 2 sauce patches and that got a little bit excessive. But I have a lot of indeterminate tomatoes that are growing. I grew, I think, about 13 different kinds of tomatoes this year. So we will see what happens, and I just can't wait. So I hope your garden is growing well, and I thank you so much for watching. Do give a like and consider subscribing. If you like to garden and if you love to cook what you grow, this might be a channel for you. Have a great evening. Take care. Bye.